Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to fix Balloon Boy here so that it'll work with the Rig BiPed Simple. So what you're going to require is Crowbar, which is a program that decompiles the models. And I'm just going to browse off here to what I did is I downloaded or I subscribed to Splink's Friday Night at Freddy 2 pack, and basically Balloon Boy is in there. So I'm going to open up Balloon Boy in Crowbar. I'm just going to send it back to a decompile folder in the same directory as the actual model. All I do is I load up the model and hit decompile. It'll decompile the model, and that's all we need Crowbar for. Now what we need is Blender, and I'm going to open up Blender here. I'm going to import the decompiled model. So import, go off to the workshop, models, Splinks, Friday Night at Freddy's 2, Balloon Boy, and here's the decompile folder here. And I'm going to click on the QC and actually load the QC into Blender. And what that will do is it'll bring in all the model pieces, all the animations that are with it, and everything else. So I double click on the QC, wait a couple of seconds for it to load up. So here's Balloon Boy. Basically, he's got the same structure as what Bonnie did, and he's missing the toes, he's missing the 3 spine bones, and he's missing the clavicle bones here in order to make it work. So all we're going to do is we're going to take the bone structure into edit mode. I'll turn on screencast keys here first so that you can see what keys I'm actually hitting. Over here is the mouse, and you should see the keys that I'm hitting. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Not that big. 50 should do. And the mouse, I'll make that about the same. There we go. So if I push a mouse button, it'll light up. If I type a key, Shift S, I'm going to center my cursor. There we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in ortho mode so that I can walk around the model and it'll be straight on when I start moving things around. So hit 5 to go into ortho mode, and I want it to go to front view, so I'm going to press 1. Zoom in on the model by using my mouse wheel and pull it down a bit. Okay, I'm going to select the armature, go into edit mode. I'm going to select the 2 foot bones. Come on, light up for me here. Here, okay. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate the bones, and then I'm going to pull them forward by grabbing them with a G. And I'm going to grab them on the Y-axis so that they'll come straight forward. They went straight backwards. I've got to pull them the other way. Grab Y. I'm going to put them right about there where the toes should be. Grab them down and put them into the mesh a little bit further on the Z-axis, and right there. Okay, next thing I have to do is I have to unlock the bone from the knee and put it to the actual foot. So to do that, what I need to do is come over here into the bone properties panel, select one of the bones, one of the new toe bones. I'm going to rename the bone to left toe 0. and I'm going to reparent the bone to the foot. So it would be the left foot, just like that. Do the same thing to the right foot. Change that to right toe 0 and parent that to the right foot. Okay, so now that's joined. What I have to do now is I have to give these bones a little bit of mesh in order for them to actually stay connected to the model. So I'm going to come out of edit mode into object mode. I'm going to select the object, go into edit mode on the mesh. I'm going to press Z so I can see through the mesh. I'm going to get on to a 3 angle here, and that bone is almost exactly where I want it to be. So all this mesh here, I'm going to select. Come back into my front view. Go into my vertex groups. I'm going to add 2 new vertex groups. I'm going to name one for the left toe bone and one for the right toe bone. So because I can't remember what I actually called them here, I'm going to go into the armature. Here we are. Press Control, hit Enter on, or hit the left mouse button on that. Copy that with an Alt C, and coming back into my vertex groups. Call this one left. I'm going to call this one right. Where'd you go? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this mesh to both bones, and then I'm going to delete mesh from one and make it just unique to the other. So I'm going to assign it, select the other one and assign that. Now I'm on the right bone, so I don't want the left toe. I unselect all that, and I remove that from the right toe. Select this, and I don't want the right toe on the left toe vertex group, so I'm going to deselect all that and remove that. So now if I select the left toe, this toe will light up, and if I select the right toe, that vertex group will light up. And that's pretty good. Now for the spine. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to find the spine 0 bone. So I got to come out of edit mode on the mesh and go back into edit mode on the bone, on the armature. What I want to do is I want to find not the pelvis but the spine, and I'm going to do a Control plus to collect the whole bone, and I'm going to shift duplicate that, so that will be spine 01, 02, oops, come on, 02, 03. Okay. And I'm going to leave them right in the same place. Now for this, I need the actual naming convention for a valve model. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Notepad++, and I'm going to load up the script. Where are you? File open. Let me set rig simple. Okay. The spine bones can be named any of these these names here. Okay, but they have to follow, or do they? No, not really. Okay, we're going to try and keep the same naming conventions as the original model. Okay, so if we go back and we look at the arm, it's the Valve BiPed .bip01 underscore whatever. So looking here, Valve bip.bip1 spine 1. And if we go back and we look at the spine now, Valve bip1 spine. So spine, the second bone is going to be called this. Come on. The next one is going to be 2. And the last one is going to be 3. So that gives me all 3 bones where I want them to be. But now what I have to do is I have to go back and I have to attach them properly. So looking at the actual order that they're in, root goes to root bone, pelvis goes to hips. No, wrong one. Where are you? Here we go. Pelvis goes to spine 0. Spine 1 goes to spine 0 goes to spine 1. Spine 1 goes to spine 2. Spine 2 goes into chest. Okay, so bone spine 1 is the bip spine 1. So bip spine 1, and that connects to the spine. Okay, now 2 will go to spine 1. And 3 will go to spine 3. Spine 2 rather. Okay, and then the up here in the arms, the upper arm, I'm going to select the upper arm bone. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to call that left clavicle. Grab that so I get the proper spelling. And on the right side, I'm going to do the same thing to the right upper arm. Shift duplicate. I'm going to call that, oops, that's no good. Excuse me. Right clavicle. Okay. That is going to connect to spine 3. And this one is going to connect to spine 3. And then the left upper arm is going to connect to the left clavicle. And the right upper arm is going to connect to the right clavicle. Okay, that should be everything. Now what I have to do is I have to recompile, or export and recompile. So now I have to set up Blender Source Tools. I'm going to throw this back into the same folder that I got it from. My engine path is going to be bin, common source Filmmaker game bin, and what we're looking for here is Studio MDL right there. Accept. Scroll down here to game path, and we want that to point to user mod. So Steam Apps, Common Source Filmmaker Game User Mod. Accept. And we're going to point this one at where that QC file is that we loaded, which was back in the Decompile, right here, Ragboy QC. Accept. Now before we export this, there's a couple of other things we have to look at as well, is the animations, Ragdoll and Hunter. So I don't know what they do, if they actually do anything or not. I don't know if he programmed them or if they're just idle. But one thing that we do have to do is we have to actually edit the QC. So we're going to go and open that QC. Game. Workshop. Models. Flanks, splinks, and go into Friday Night at Freddy's 2, Bloom Boy, the Decompile folder, and we're going to open the QC. And I'm opening this in Notepad++. You can use any text editor you want. Okay, first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of this reference to the VTA file. And all the controllers except eyes down and eyes left right. We need to leave the curly bracket on. And we have to change all the SMD references to DMX. Don't want to miss any of them. Now here are the balloon and the sign. Leave everything else commented out, and we have to change the animation files to DMX. And we'll just leave the IK chain the way it is. Now we're going to file save this as Bloom Boy 2 QC. And what should happen is here. Select Balloon Boy 2. Now what we have to do is we have to export the files. I'm going to export the 16 files, which will include the Ragdoll DMX animation file. We're watching for any errors here. There's no errors. Now what we're going to do is come down here and we're going to change this armature properties flag from Ragdoll to Hunter. We're going to come back up here. We're going to select the Hunter and we're going to export that as well. And we're just going to export the Hunter. Another change to the QC that we have to make right here. Delete Ragdoll, Balloon Boy, or whatever the model name is, and leave anims backslash or slash the animation DMX name. Okay, save that again. Let's try and give it a compile. Just click on the QC here, and we'll let it go whirl around a bit, and we'll either get an error message up here or a compile message up here, and it says it's compiled. We can confirm it's compiled by launching the HM Half-Life model viewer. Anytime you want to load, that would be good. There it is. File, load the file model. Come back here to Balloon Boy. No, it'll end up in your user mod models, blinks. Oh, I didn't change the name of the flipping model. Okay, but that's okay. I just want to have a look and see if this one actually took. So there's Balloon Boy. Come in here, have a look at the skins. Skin 2, skin 3, and supposedly a shadow type skin. Okay, submodel 1, balloon, submodel 2, balloon disappears, and the sign, submodel 1, submodel 2, just the stick remains, and submodel 3, the stick disappears as well. That's exactly what we want it to do. We'll come back to skin 1. Come here to the bones, have a quick look at the bones, make sure the bones that we added are still there. Toe left, toe right, spine, 1, 2, 3, clavicle, and clavicle. Good. Close out of this. We can launch Source Filmmaker now. And if everything went well, already running. So there's Bonnie. Let's load Balloon Boy now. Because I've already got Source Filmmaker running, I'm going to have to do a rescan. Change this to Balloon Boy. Still loading models. Okay, so it's in user mod. That's the one I want. I'm going to load that. Push him back down onto the stage so that we can see him. Right there with Bonnie. Pull him out to the left a little bit. Now let's find out if the rig works. And there's the rig. So now we've got here, have a balloon. Okay, now the pelvis. And everything is looking like it should work properly. And that's basically how I did it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Private Jack out.